Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Wizard World Virtual Experiences as the crowd emojis wildly. You can applaud too from the comfort and safety of your home, but show us your love so we know that you're there in the chat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Get those emojis out there. Give us those exclamation points. Shout out your favorite character from Napoleon Dynamite. Whatever you want to put in that chat. Start showing us that you can hear us and that we are live, because we are very excited to bring you some of the cast members of one of the greatest films of all time, Napoleon Dynamite, in just a few minutes. But a couple of housekeeping things. This panel is streaming to you completely free and live, whether you're watching it today or you're watching it later in the week. It is free on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. But in addition to this free panel, we have some paid experiences going on as well. So head to wizardworldvirtual.com. Again, that's wizardworldvirtual.com. Click on the cast of Napoleon Dynamite and check out all of the amazing once-in-a-lifetime exclusive virtual experiences happening. For those cast members that are participating, there are one-on-one video chats, autographs, and video recorded messages. So if you can, treat yourself or treat a loved one to those amazing experiences. Again, that is at wizardworldvirtual.com. Also, we'll be taking your questions, your live questions in the chat. So just go ahead and tag at Wizard World. Send your question. We've got producers watching behind the scenes. They'll send them to me, and then I will relay them to our amazing guests. And last but not least, we can't do physical conventions right now, but we've had such fun. Over 100 of these virtual panels going and streaming to you, folks watching from around the country and around the world. And we want to make sure to also support our artists and vendors. So head to the Wizard World Vault. It is our best attempt at an online convention floor. WizardWorldVault.com features memorabilia, works of art, Funko Pops, you name it. Everything that you would see at a convention is there from some of our favorite artists and vendors. Again, that is at wizardworldvault.com. Without further ado, let's bring out these amazing cast members. We know them from countless television shows, films. They all have done voice acting as well, some of our most memorable characters. But let's welcome them from Napoleon Dynamite. First up, you know him from Just Like Heaven, The Benchwarmers, School for Scoundrels, Blades of Glory, Mama's Boy, When in Rome, and as Roy Disney in Walt Before Mickey. Most recently, you heard him as Pickle in Pickle and Peanut. It is Napoleon Dynamite himself. Let's hear it for John Heder, everybody.
Oh, sounds like I'm on the toilet, but I'm not. I could be. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, we wouldn't know. That's the fun part of these Zoom calls, John.
It's a fancy bathroom I'm in with a library behind me.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Hey, you can set up your bathroom however you want to set up your bathroom, John.
Yeah, we have extra time during these times.
we do to make the bathrooms fancy. John, we have folks again watching from around the country, around the world. Where are you currently zooming in from?
I'm zooming in from Oregon.
Oh, very nice. Oregon is in the house right now. In addition to Oregon, we also have Washington, Ohio, Montreal, Oklahoma, Minnesota, North Carolina, St. Louis, California, Washington State, Minneapolis, Chicago, Miami, Southside Chicago. I said that already. DC. So a lot of folks are watching from all over the place. John, thanks for being here. Also, thank you for getting the impression out of the way. That way, when people start asking for it in the comments, we're done. We're good. You know what I mean?
What impression are you talking about? That's how I talk.
True that.
That's how I talk you to.
Awesome. Let's get the other two gentlemen out here. He is a professional DJ, known for his company and festival, Nocturnal Rampage, featured in, again, so many TV shows and films, including the Crank franchise, Eastbound and Down, Casa de Mi Padre. Let's bring out Pedro, everybody. Let's hear it for Efren Ramirez.
Yeah, just unmute the video. There he is.
Good entrance.
I was like, thanks. ¿Qué pasó, familia? What's up?
There we go. Thank you. Efren, welcome. That was a sweet sugar skull mug you got there.
Oh, you like that? It's where I put my my sweet potions.
It's where he puts his weed, man.
I like
Only when I'm doing Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Efren, where are you calling in from today?
Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles, California. Right. California in the house. A lot of Californians always tuning in. All right, last but not least, everybody. His film credits include The Beverly Hillbillies, Office Space, Euro Trip, obviously Napoleon Dynamite. He is a prolific voice actor as well. Most recently, the voice of Bruce Wayne, Batman from The Brave and the Bold, and then the most recent series, Harley Quinn, also Justice League Adventures and BoJack Horseman. He is Rex Kwon Do, everyone. Please give it up for Diedrich Bader.
Your sensei.
Out of your sense. There he is.
There he is. we got 2 impressions and we got some Spanish. So we're already halfway there, I feel like, in terms of this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're rolling now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're rolling. Diedrich, thanks so much. Where are you zooming in from today?
I am in Los Angeles, California, the entertainment capital of the world.
That's exactly where it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that what goes on there in LA? Just entertainment.
Why is everybody
That's all we
laughing?
do.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah. Walk out the streets and you'll be highly entertained.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Nice.
It's like a parade every day.
Well, thank you, 3 gentlemen, for being here. I know I speak on behalf of the fans again. This is just such a nice break from the day and whatever, people that are working, people that aren't working. We're all stuck in our homes together, having this shared experience. And I know people are just binging movies, binging TV series, watching all of you again in one of the best films of all time, Napoleon Dynamite. So thank you for being here. I want to get things kicked off. The movie came out in 2004, was made on a very, very low budget, but then went on to huge commercial success and really paved the way for a lot of the other independent films, especially those independent films telling stories of like small town America. What is it like knowing so many years ago that this film still resonates with a lot of folks watching from around the globe? And we have, again, hundreds of fans in the chat right now. Just talk a little bit about sort of the fan experience and the fan love and the legacy of Napoleon Dynamite. John, you want to kick things off since it's, of course, your baby?
It is my baby.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's been wonderful. It's been a crazy ride. It's just kind of for Efren and I, but especially myself, I had not done, this was my first movie that I had ever done. And so I was kind of like in La La Land when we got on set, and I thought, wow, we've got Diedrich Bader, we've got Tina Majorino. She's the girl who has the map to dry land on her back. Like, I was like, really like, this is legit. And when I got to set, this is the Hollywood that I knew. I was like, yes, I was a film student and I kind of knew a little bit how films were made, but still I was just like, sweet. So we don't get trailers. I thought trailers was a thing, but whatever, it's cool. And this is what it normally is like. But it's just been, the whole ride has just been incredible that we're 16 years later and still going strong, that people love it and that it's had legs like this. And, we kind of had one of the number one questions I'll answer now is,
sure,
would you have ever dreamt of this kind of reception and success and kind of cult status feel? And we played with, we played with the idea. We were like, I think it's possible with this kind of film, with all the, we were more like kind of like the original fans. So we were like, well, it's going to be cult status in our eyes. I want to make a toy of, Uncle Rico that has all his one-liners and Kip and all his one-liners. So we had that kind of thought, but it was really, we had no idea anybody would ever see it. So that was like the big surprise.
That's such an interesting way to think about it, that you came in writing it to be a cult hit, or not a cult hit, but like to have sort of that like obscure kind of cult status. Is that what you were referring to? I know it started as like a short film, right? And then kind of developed into a longer script.
And it's not that we weren't necessarily shooting for cult status. I think Jared Hess, who wrote and directed the film, he wanted to make a story that he related to, that was like, most of the events in the movie are things that happened to him or his younger brothers growing up in that town. So he just thought, I want to tell my story. And yes, this is like, it has a certain style and vibe, but we thought, yes, this could be very much like a cult film, but again, it has to be seen by people. And this is before social media and all that. So we just thought, there might be a handful of people who see it at 1 or 2 festivals, but it was really when it started to snowball at Sundance is when we realized, ooh, our dreams could come true.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, Efren, talk a little bit about that early fan love and kind of cult status that started really quickly, you know what I mean, and as the movie snowballed and everything, and now continues to this day.
Well, I mean, we were all surprised, and as Heder said, that we were big fans of it while we were shooting the films, because they were practically all of the scenes are very funny. But as characters, we didn't find it to be funny. We lived in that moment. But the fact that Pedro wants to build a cake, or he has a piñata of summer, you never think that all these little occurrences in the film would be engraved in people's hearts and minds, and we're thinking like, wow. So after the film festival, when it started to get bigger and bigger, we were like, wow, it's becoming something else. And throughout the years, the fact that generations of all types can actually sit down together and watch and enjoy, it was like, yeah, we're a part of this, all of us. It's cool.
I mean, so many quotable lines and quotable scenes. I mean, you all were like memes before memes were a thing. It was, it was that movie that, once people saw it, everyone was quoting it to their friends, were like imitating the characters. So many classic lines and classic scenarios.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
Yeah, everything. Diedrich, that's a good segue, Efren, right to Diedrich there. I mean, you were in, just previous to this, another hugely popular cult film, Office Space. And so, and what I consider one of my favorite TV shows of all time that has cult status, the Drew Carey Show, I think, just because of the things that it did for TV and some of the styles of episodes that now everybody copies. Talk a little bit about, again, now being a part of Napoleon Dynamite and seeing how that legacy has lasted.
Well, I, in contrast to everyone, knew it was going to be an enormous hit. No, you can't.
He's from the entertainment capital.
That's right, exactly. I'm actually the capital. All you can go by is a script, and I will say, Napoleon, when I got the offer, my agent was like, "There's this tiny little picture, and I don't think you should do it. I think it's a pass." And I was like, "Well, I'm going to read it tonight." And they were like, "You don't need to. They don't have any money." That's the first thing agents always say. And so I was like, "Well, I'm going to read it," because I was just sitting around anyway. So I read it, and that and Office Space are the two funniest scripts I've ever read. Like, I could not stop laughing. And that's all you can go by ultimately, if it's just funny to you. And then the rest is up to everybody else. But all you can go by is, thinking, this is great, and I want to be a part of it in any way that I can. I don't care that they have money. I don't care if I don't really know anybody. I don't care. It's a really funny script, and that's what you have to go by. I knew that it was going to take off. Bumped into a kid at a voiceover. He was probably 9 or 10, and he had seen the movie, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's Rex Kwon Do." I hadn't seen it yet. I wasn't able to go to Sundance, and he started quoting the lines, and he goes, "Say the part where you say this. Say the part where you say that." And I'm like, "Look, kid, I haven't seen the picture, okay?" And he goes, "You said this, and you said that, and you said this." And he goes, and I go, "Wait a minute, how many times have you seen this movie?" And he goes, 12. And I was like, gosh. Are you kidding? Holy moly. And it, that's when I knew it was going to take off. And because, I mean, you quoted Office Space. Office Space never hit. I mean, that was a bomb, like a bomb.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So in stark contrast, like this had to build right away, took off and made an unbelievable, especially with the amount of money that they spent, an unbelievable amount of money. And I'm just delighted to be a part of it. And I'm glad I said no. And still my agent, if you're wondering.
There we go. So no bridges burned there.
Yeah.
That's so cool to hear, because again, you always hear the opposite of it's all about, it's about money, and you get offered the money before you read the script and you just take it because of that. So it's I think that is what this piece was all about, was the grassroots, style of film that it was, and you just went off of your gut. Clobbersaurus 68 in the chat also says, any movie with Rex's pants. is bound to be a hit. So
I wish I had held on to those pants. I wish. That's my one sober regret.
Someone's got them somewhere.
I think you can find them at pawn shops or thrift
totally.
stores.
But I mean those pants.
Those pants. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think they're actually at the Smithsonian at this very moment.
I feel the same way. I had the original vote for Pedro, sure, but it's silly because at the time I was like, I'll just trade this for something else to someone because I could get 1 out of a million that they're selling everywhere, and I'll just say it's the original. But it is. I do kind of miss it.
Yeah, who's got the licensing on this shirt? Because my gosh, that person is doing okay right now.
Speaking of which, Mike, since you got that, you got to flaunt that shirt. You got to.
I know. I got to open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was trying to be like, like subtle, like people, let the true fans know what's going on in the background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the script. Obviously, the script is brilliant, and the characterizations are brilliant, and that's ultimately what led to its success was the hilarity of these characters. I want to start getting to some fan questions because they're flooding in. This is from Jamie watching, and Jamie wants to know, were the eccentricities of the characters already fleshed out in the script, or was there a lot that was brought to it by the actors? And I guess sort of, or where was sort of the give and take there on the characters themselves?
Well, for me, I having done the short film first, Napoleon was a little bit of a different process than I think the other characters, because we had established him in the years prior. Sure. And when we had done that, Jared had kind of a loose sketch of what he wanted. He came to me and said, I think you could do this. So him and I just started talking about the character, and what was on the paper was a little bit, but I think as we, over the few couple days or weeks before we shot the short film, is when his wife came up with the idea of giving me a perm. And Jared at one point said, ooh, I think you should wear some moon boots. And then, when we're there, once you're kind of like, I'm wearing the glasses, and I remember helping him choose the glasses, like, ooh, you should have like those really thick glasses, or like the glasses make your eyes look tiny instead of big. So, because I'm already squinty-eyed, it just looks like he has no eyes, just like, and so as we kind of created the outfit, it was when we just found, and so there's little bits and pieces that I threw in that I'd see Jared do when he'd be like, well, I think he just runs away runs like that. And I'm like, okay. And so, I mean, for me, we kind of found, some of it was written and some of it was just kind of found as we were creating it.
That's so cool. Efren, talk a little bit about Pedro. I feel like the subtlety of Pedro is such a good juxtaposition to all of the other very wacky characters. You know what I mean? What was it like creating that character?
Well, a lot of it has to do with trust and having to trust the director and the writer. Sure. The director Jared and his wife Jerusha, who created the script, they really were specific with the characters. So, to come into the work, when you read the script, as Diedrich was talking, it's like you read the script and you go, every character is very specific, and you do the work and you trust that. And I had just graduated from school, so when I got the job, I wasn't so sure what I was going to do as an actor. Sure. But when I met all the rest of the actors and saw what they were doing, and then when I saw John Heder dressed up as Napoleon when we were getting into wardrobe, and I went, whoa, this could possibly this is going to be something different. It's not so and he's not here right now, but Jonathan Grice, who plays Uncle Rico.
Yes.
I remember having to show him my work, of having to really learn and play Pedro. And he was like, yeah, trust that. And he gave me some great advice about just being honest with the character and live through that. And working with all these great actors, it's like, I'm as I'm thinking about it, I don't have any scenes with Diedrich, right? Remember that? Pedro doesn't have a scene, any scenes at all with Rex Kwon-Do. That would have been an interesting thing. Yeah. We don't, but that's all right, The future's still there.
Well, I think that's a great point. The sincerity of the characters is what really makes them believable. You know what I mean? You're seeing this sort of kind of crazy world, but it's really very genuine the entire time. Diedrich, you come on again and, have three or four scenes as Rex, but he feels just as big and just as quotable again as the other characters. How much of that did you bring to it yourself? How much was that in the script, prior?
Well, yeah, people ask me all the time because they have improvised in movies and they have largely kept Office Space, for example. There's a lot
Sure.
of stuff that I added. There's not one single word that I changed in Napoleon Dynamite. It is
Wow.
exactly word for word. The character description says he seems like a professional roller. I immediately thought of, the guy with hat glasses or with the Slim Jims. So I don't know who that
Macho
is.
Man, Macho Man. He's definitely Macho Man. Yeah.
Macho Man, yeah, Macho Man. So that's what I was thinking of. I assume that's what he was thinking of because I didn't really get that much direction. We only had like 2 takes on every take. If these guys remember, like we shot it totally guerrilla style.
Yeah.
They turn around and it's like, okay, that's it. I guess that was it, right? Yeah, I mean, the physical comedy was really fun to do. We didn't really strictly. John, do you remember rehearsing that? I don't. I think we just shot it.
We might. I mean, for me, I think most scenes we would do like one rehearsal just for camera, mostly. And
I think that's right.
Jared would
I think that's right.
And I think he would pull us off to the side and maybe have us say it, but no, there wasn't. I mean, there wasn't
a lot, right? No. Fair enough. We did it once, and we kind of nailed down where we were going with it. I'm very happy with the physical comedy in those that scene, particularly the scene with John. I'm happy with it. It's funny when something like they do on one day of your life become something that somebody talks about for 16 years.
Yeah.
One day for a couple hours,
Exactly. Yeah. Very, very short. And yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy to think, and you can't put the weight of that thinking like, oh my God, this will live forever. What we're doing right now is going to be forever, like Amber caught, but it is. That's the way it is. I mean, that's the nature of film, is that you do it once, you get one really good take. They can use that, and it can literally last forever. And that's what is addictive about working on camera, frankly, is that you're like, oh my God, I nailed that, and now it's there.
Yeah.
Or you could be, I didn't nail that. Sometimes I don't think that was a great take, and the director seems no, it's good, and then that's what lives on. You're like,
oh my gosh,
if only you guys knew I had better.
Yeah.
But
there's this interview, for example. People are going to watch this for generations and generations, and you'll have to go back.
It could have been better.
It could have been better. Yeah. No, I appreciate you talking about the style of the movie. Ray Turner asked about like the wardrobe choices. JMO 650 actually says, what year did the movie take place? I've always wanted to know. It seems like the early 90s, clothing, hairstyle, cars. It really is a timeless film, though. I watched it again the other day, and it feels like it could be a small town in Idaho still, you know what I mean, to this day. John, talk a little bit about sort of the timeless nature, or, anyone really, of the film, and sort of where you were looking to set it originally, and then kind of like how you see it playing out today.
Wasn't it 1984?
Is that it? Specifically,
no.
Yeah.
No, it was. It actually took place 2003 when we shot it. It was supposed to be modern day, just normal day, I think. Certainly Jared was trying to capture that essence of this small town, Preston, Idaho, where he grew up and where we shot the film. It was like this. We didn't have to decorate or anything. This is the town. And if you've ever been to a small town, USA, it is kind of a time capsule. Everything kind of freezes it. You're going to get like old styles, but certain trends and cultural fads aren't completely up to date. They're a little late sometimes, and I mean, that's how everyday life is, but it's certainly a small town like this. Even I think it's harder nowadays to really find a place like that with the internet, with social media, and how much everybody's kind of plugged into the same place. But we I think we were lucky. It was almost best timing to shoot this film because it was right before all of that really took off. And so it was very believable. That said, if you were to go to Preston, Idaho today, I feel like it would look pretty much the same.
Same farmer in the field. I mean, you had that. So the farmer, I mean, those were locals, obviously, that you also tapped for the film.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
we had
Lyle, I gotta give a shout. Lyle's actually a theater actor. He just finished doing a one act show on Broadway just by himself. He lit it, directed it, started it.
Yeah, nobody understood a word he was saying.
Perfect.
He was
amazing.
A local. There was a handful of other like one-liners that were just locals.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a number of people they cast out of Utah where they were pre-production took place. But yeah, he was the real deal. That was part of the flavoring of this film was like, let's get the real people to play the real people. That Jared was like, I could cast someone to play Randy, the bully, who's always got me in a headlock at the locker.
Yeah.
But why cast someone when I could just bribe the real kid with soda and chips? That's what he did.
Keep those costs down. Keep those costs down. Yeah. Well, no. Again, and like we said already, that's what adds to the authenticity of the whole movie. You know what I mean? You really feel like you're there. You're in the moment. That these people do exist and could exist and do exist. You know, in real time.
Yeah.
I just saw what's so funny is I'd seen the film so many times when I was young, and for the first time I let it play out to the credits. I had never seen the wedding scene until just recently. I remember the song, I remember like the rap, but I don't remember seeing that whole wedding scene play out. So you mentioned Kyle there, that was hilarious. And this question actually comes from Old Boy 17. Does footage, because we talked about it a little bit before, is like all these extended storylines. Like we would have loved to see Pedro, go to Rex Kwando, or we would love to see like what else would happen with Tina, right? For example, is there footage? Old Boy is curious. Like, is there footage that didn't make it that you kind of wish did, or you're sort of like would love to have seen in the final film?
I mean, for me, I think the way the film was perfect. It makes sense why they cut some of the stuff. There was, I would almost say, a lot of the stuff that they cut was stuff that they took from the short film that we did. Because, he did, the short film was just, it's like we shot it in 2 days and it takes place basically in 1 day. And there was there was scenes in there that he lifted and put into the film.
Right. And
it was kind of weird on the day when we shot it. I was like, this is weird to be doing the exact same dialogue, exact same camera angles, everything, but with a different Pedro. And it ended up not really serving the story. He took it out. But I just tell people, go watch the short film Peluca if you haven't seen it, because it's incredible. And it feels like one big deleted scene that's really good.
One big deleted scene.
I like that, John. A 7-minute deleted scene.
You sold the hell out of that, John.
That's why I threw in. That's really good.
Yeah, no, right. You qualified it.
Where
can people see that, John? Is it online? Can people find that online?
Yeah, it's on most of the. Well, I'd say DVDs. It's weird to think that we've come. Like people have DVDs, but if you own it online or have the DVD, it's on any special feature, and you can probably find it online. But it's really good, and I tell people if you want to see a perfect perm, that's what you watch as a short film. That was perfection. The one for the film was okay, but the one for the short film.
If only we could have recreated that perm. It would have won the Academy Award. Diedrich, you talked a little bit about, you've just mentioned, my gosh, 1 day of work for a few hours, and you're still being recognized for this character like 16 years later. Is there, there's so many other things you've done though, from voiceover to film to TV. Is there another, fans are asking for everyone, is there something that came after Napoleon Dynamite that sticks, like is equal in the sense of like being recognized for a particular thing, another role or part or thing that sticks out to you as being particularly fan worthy, if you will?
Well, that's an interesting question because when you've done when you have work, there are different things that different people like.
Yeah,
So it really varies all over the place. Like I'm not the biggest fan of the Beverly Hillbillies, and the Beverly Hillbillies, and they get on Twitter and they're like, "We love it. We watch it all the time." And so I can't, you never know. You never know when somebody walks up and is like, "Oh my God, you were in this," like for example, I was on. This is this is last year. I was on Larchmont, which is by my house here in Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world. And there was a South Asian family that was clearly from India. They were tourists. They came to to see us all here as we prayed by, and up, and they were so excited on it. It's going to be out, which was the series that I did that was based in India. I mean, ostensibly based in India. Anyway, I thought that was going to be it because I was making a huge cultural assumption.
Yeah.
And they were like, "We love Veep," and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, all right, great." So you just you never really know. Can I say one thing about John's perm though? It's
Yes.
something I always wanted to say.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the reasons I loved the script as I did was that when I went to in elementary school, there was this guy I went to school with named John. I'm not going to say his last name, but he was kind of like this kooky outsider dude, and really went by. And I could not stop watching him. Like, I just thought he was the most interesting guy in the world. And my best friend Andrew was like, "Why are you always looking at John?" I was like, it is its own reward. You just have to keep watching him. Like, we were waiting in a basketball one time, 2 lines, for a drill, like layup and then rebound or whatever. And those, because I'm an old guy, 70s, chapstick had just come out, right? And he had like this cherry chapstick, and John was in line, and he was like just loving his chapstick, like really, really loving it. And I couldn't take my eyes off him. And then he goes, and then he's just loving it the whole time. And then he goes like this, right before my turn, he goes and takes a bite of the chapstick. And then, but John had really, really bright, blonde, curly hair. And Napoleon, the character Napoleon, reminded me so much of John. And then when I got to the set, because it was the day before I shot, for wardrobe to pick out the pants, with her, I went, "Oh my God, it's like the dream."
That's insane. You told that story so passionately, even your Wi-Fi couldn't handle it at the end, but it was so good.
Oh, yeah.
So good. No, that's so fortuitous that it happened just the day before. And Diedrich, while you were telling that story, right before you started telling it, Kelly 11 Marie said, "Can you bring me chapstick to the cast? Can you bring me some chapstick?" So there's some weird kind of chapsticky universal thing going on.
It's not a big deal, you guys. It's just sometimes our lips hurt.
Yeah.
Wait, I've got some.
I love the visual
I've got
of like him putting it on first, and then it's like he laughed at the last second. He's like, "It's not enough."
Yeah.
It's not enough.
It's
Cherry is so delicious. It's so good.
Efren,
if it was grape flavored, I would for sure probably want to munch down on that.
Yeah.
Of course. But cherry is too sweet.
Too sweet.
Yeah. We all had that chapstick in the 90s when they got super flavorful that was this close to being candy. You know what I mean? It was this close.
Yum.
I got butterscotch.
Ooh,
Interesting.
very nice. Very nice. Efren, anything from after Napoleon, because of the success of Napoleon Dynamite that now, like, over the past years particularly sticks with you as like another memorable role, or just really, I know you're a huge professional DJ as well, you know what I mean? So maybe talk a little bit about that, but just things that have happened since Napoleon.
Well, I like Diedrich Bader, and Heder and everybody else, all the cast members of Napoleon Dynamite. Once that film became a hit, we kind of go, okay,
Yeah.
now we have these channels to choose from when it comes to doing projects. And you kind of want to challenge yourself all the time, and so that's the reason why I did movies like Employee of the Month or Walkout or
Sure.
the Crank films, because they were different, and I didn't. People would say, "Well, are you going to be just stuck doing one thing and be pigeonholed to that?" But as an actor, you want to be able to challenge yourself and do the dramas and the comedies and the satire. Um, and I hope that every time I do a job, I do it some service, whether it's a voiceover or actual live action. Yeah, and Dietrich knows, just like when you're doing voiceover, it's not just being able to go in front of the microphone and just say it. No, you really have to take a look at it. What kind of voice do they want? What's the intonation, the inflection? And it's really you have to enter it through a curious mind. For me, that curiosity has helped me over the years to find the voices of all the characters that I played.
That's awesome. That sounds cool. We've had a bunch of voice actors on, and it's cool to hear the difference, and not that it's the same process. You're still an actor. It's just a slightly different medium. You know what I mean? You're doing different things. Yeah, John. I mean, you've obviously done a bunch. Diedrich has done a bunch. Any of your recent series, John, that kind of stick with you as being a favorite?
I love Pickle and Peanut, you mentioned, and it's one of those where it's like on the other side. Now, we didn't have to try too hard to make Napoleon a cult. It's like we loved it and people just grabbed onto it right away. Like Pickle and Peanut is the one where I'm like out there trying to push it. You guys, you will love it. I promise. Watch it. It could have cult status, but it's probably my favorite project I've done since Napoleon. I mean, I've loved pretty much everything I've done, but that was a ton of fun. And it was a completely different experience because it was voiceover. But the guys who created it and being able to go in and kind of have a lot of creative input in creating such a weird role. I love weird stuff. And this is definitely weird.
Jesse Moore is curious about the animated series. We brought Napoleon Dynamite comes back as an animated series. What was it like kind of reconnecting at that time? So now the film's successful. We know it's going to be a cult status, and we come back as an animated series. Jesse's just curious about what it was like returning to the characters in animated form.
I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was funny because I don't think I truly realized up until that moment that I knew who Diedrich was when he did Rex, but I didn't realize his extensive voiceover career. So when I was like, oh, that must be like doing the voiceover for Napoleon. It was just like, oh yeah, this is just another job.